I want your touch in every way. I can't give it up. Anything just to feel the rush. This just ain't enough. Oh, we made my life.
What is going on, guys? It's Toby here. I'm here with G, and today we're going to be installing the Whipple Supercharger. You guys have been waiting for this for literally 9 months now, so close to a year. We're going to begin the job by taking off the intake manifold, unplugging everything here vacuum-wise, and then starting to get that Whipple lid on. By the end of tonight, I want the entire lid on with no questions asked, so this shouldn't take too long. You got it, G?
Oh yeah. I'm the mechanic you be talking about.
Not me?
Nope.
This one vacuum line on the back of the
now I'm gonna try
manifold does not want to come off.
There you go.
Very quick. What are we doing?
Trying to figure out why this is missing and where it is.
What? What is missing?
Man, chill.
Sorry. You're heating up a meal prep, and I realized John doesn't even have utensils.
He has a spoon.
He has a spoon.
After taking off that intake manifold, we transferred over the gaskets. It's super simple. I mean, you just pull up on the tab in the middle and they'll come off. And now we need to show the torque sequence for putting this intake runner back on. So it's very specific. It's straight from Whipple. It's 80 inch-pounds. And I'm going to show you guys the process of how you actually seat them. The intake manifold is completely, or the intake runners I meant to say, are seated on this side. We're going to put thread lockers. So Whipple says you need to use red Loctite. That's what it looks like. And you're just going to pour it on each thread of each bolt, and then we'll go hand tight and then do the torque sequence. So once again, just to make sure that everything seats properly, we're going hand tight with the bolts first, and then we'll make the passes with the torque wrench. You're supposed to do 2 passes, one starting at 50 inch-pounds, then 80 inch-pounds is the final torque. I'm just going to take the ratchet and get everything hand tight, and then we'll actually torque. So I'm just doing this in a star pattern because I want to make sure that this actually seats properly. I don't want it to be uneven on one side, too much pressure on the other. There you go. Yes, sir. Dan's a professional. Yeah. And then we're just going to do the second pass for good measure. So same exact torque spec, or actually we moved from 50 to 80 this time. And we're just going to...
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there you go. Put Loctite on these middle 3 that go right here with the intake runner. So after you get all the outside ones, you got to go in the middle. And I'm about to drop this bolt in. That's what the lid officially looks like back on the Supercharger. So the assembly is coming together well. We are missing a few parts here. Can't do anything about it, so I can't get this on the car and running. I'm just gonna have to hit up Whipple. They're gonna have to email me back and get everything shipped out. It's like a couple of MPT barbs and some vacuum things and stuff for the cooling too. So it's like the stuff that would go right here. Now I'm filling the Whipple up with some of this oil. So I took out the drain port and so this is the oil fill line. It says it right here, and then in the manual it specifically says do not go over it. So I filled it directly to there, and then we can plug this up. Pretty simple stuff. You just pour it. Be careful though. For reference, this is how much I went through of the bottle, so that's a decent amount. I need to go crazy sicko mode on, on the compressor, rock it back and forth. I am listening to instructions here, and then spin the pulley so that the rotors get lubricated, or the bearings. Like I mentioned earlier, we do have more than a few things missing here from the Whipple kit. They're probably gonna overnight it, but we got this mounted up here just for mock-up purposes so you all can see what it's gonna look like. So it came out super sick with the half wrap. You know, it exceeded my expectation, and I guess we're just gonna have to wait till Whipple comes and comes in clutch with all the parts. So we gotta take this off again, revert it back to stock. I gotta go home for my mom's birthday, and then we can probably do this. This is about the 3rd time that I've installed or taken off a stock intake manifold and then reinstalled it because I cannot boost the car. And show us your new wing from EOS.
Carbon fiber.
Fully carbon. That is sick. Same GT500 wing. Carbon fiber winglets this time. Oh my
very
God.
nice.
The whole thing is I have a slight holdup with the Whipple Supercharger kit and missing parts. We can still do some of those supporting mods like I mentioned earlier. So we're going to be putting in the harmonic balancer. Should be pretty straightforward. Or appropriately, not the harmonic balancer because the car already has that on. It's the lower pulley or the Whipple pulley for the harmonic balancer. Last bolt here that I need to break off with the torque wrench actually, because I'm using it as a breaker bar for the extra leverage. And there we go. Every bolt for that thing is out. We can reinstall this. So this should just slide in. Those 3 bolts come out of the ATI harmonic balancer, and it's pretty straightforward. Torquing this to spec is a pain in the butt, but we have the torque wrench on those 3 same bolts that I took out earlier, and the torque spec is 30 foot-pound. So I'm gonna try and torque it right now. I might need to hold the other side, but okay, there we go. We hit the torque spec pretty fast. We can finally work on this Whipple Supercharger install again, because Whipple sent me a lot of the missing parts that I was initially missing, obviously. So this included barbs on the side. Dang, still not out? Okay, now I think it's finally coming out. Apparently I'm also gonna have to put some light Teflon on this MPT barb, which is this thing right here, and that's gonna go in that hole. So let's get it wrapped up. I'm gonna give it like a half turn, but in the picture that I saw, like in the instruction manual, part of the threads were still sticking out. So I'm gonna throw this spicy boy on. I'm gonna try my best to film it, but it's probably gonna be quite difficult to do so. Jesus. Almost have to sit inside the car to freaking put this thing on. It's so heavy. The wiring harnesses are out of the way. Not trying to curse. Well guys, it's mounted. That was a struggle. Oh Lord. It's actually super sick. If you look in here, you can actually see the rotors if the camera will focus. I don't know. Maybe. Let's see. Yeah, you can see the 2 rotors in there. Then if we, you can see them move. That's sick. Oh, look at that. Back to stock again. I wonder why. I completely forgot to depressurize the fuel system, so I just pulled out the fuse for the fuel pump, and now we're gonna run it out of gas. Alright, so it should start choking up pretty fast. My fuel's already low. Hello? Come on, the reason why that didn't work is because I had to pull out a fuse in the trunk. So there's actually a fuse box under here. This is a learning process. You know, we're doing this for the first time. I've never messed with a Camaro like this before. Should be running out of gas any second now. We just stopped. Okay, completely ran out of gas. Let's try again. Alright, it's out of gas completely. So it'll choke up, it'll go and then die, and now you're good. So the fuel lines have been depressurized. This is so weird. You have to tap in the air tube to relocate the PCV, and you gotta use a hammer, and it has like a head on it. And it's just so difficult to get in. Only what the instruction manual calls for, right, G? Yep. Bending up that metal apron by the windshield wiper so the Whipple will clear. Right there. Yeah. Wait. Oh yeah. The last thing that we're gonna do to fit this Whipple completely underneath the hood without all that banging stuff is to install these supplied spacers to the subframe. So they actually go in between the bolts and you slide them in. We already did like 6 of them. All right. Definitely using my torque wrench right here to get everything bolted to the heads for the Whipple. So it fits now. We had to drop the subframe as you all saw, and then we did a little bending right here too, but that's okay. We're not gonna talk about that. And yeah. After this, it's pretty straightforward. It's just a couple of evap lines, set up the cooling, and we'll be ready for the first start.
Not tonight.
Yeah, not tonight. Tomorrow. For a million freaking bullets! No, I'm just kidding. A bunch of bolts. We can finally take this bumper off. We're actually live streaming on TikTok, the install. So we're working on the cooling right now. The bumper was like the most annoying thing possible, and I'm gonna help G put it inside the house because we don't need to smack it on anything. Not you all, but this is a very appropriate furniture piece decoration for John's living room. So rate it 1 out of 10 right now. We got my ZL1 conversion kit sitting in his room. Jesus. All right, wait till you guys hear this turbo flutter. One more time, one more. So when I push down on this breaker bar, you need to push that pulley. Got it? Yep. Get it around there, get it around, get it around. All right, now I'm gonna slowly go up, make sure everything is guided still. Look at that other pulley.
Which one behind me?
Yeah, that one needs to guide the belt on there.
All right.
Yeah.
And
Make sure it's around the bottom.
all right.
You want to give them an update on what's going on with the intercooler pump and all the cooling lines?
Sure. The pump, the adapter to it, we had to cut in and strip the wires to put the old adapter into it.
And then we're going up right now to this coolant reservoir.
Had to remove the oil catch can.
I have to take out the oil catch can.
No, this is a
And
very
then-
tight space.
Yeah, we're gonna have to take out the intake, run this hose through here, and then get it through this new coolant reservoir. So we completely replaced it. The old one is a tiny tube. No, this guy's literally AI right now, but this is literally the last connection here for the intercooler pump.
For tonight.
It'll go on there, and then it'll run up to this Y fitting on this side. Recap exactly what we did tonight and accomplished with the Whipple install. So I got the throttle body all mounted up. I got the belt 100% done. And as I was saying, the Whipple Supercharger pulley is on there. The green belt is on there. We slid out the slider pulley or the adjustable idler pulley that is located on the right-hand side. We got the entire coolant reservoir system set up, so you can see right there. That cools from this intercooler right here. We showed getting this line on, this line under here. Sorry if I'm stuttering, it's just like 3 o'clock in the morning and we did this for like 5 hours straight. We got the intercooler pump on, ran the hoses up through here to the reservoir, so everything is ready to go. Once we get those barbs from Whipple Superchargers, we will literally be able to start this car. So that is the last thing we have to do. I also did crazy wiring, so we went here, got some power from the battery, ran off the factory ground, etc., etc. That was a whole bunch of yapping, but you guys got the general idea of the journey that it took to do this. We had to drop the motor. We had to spend a lot of time doing meticulous small things. We're waiting to get these parts. And then the second I get those freaking parts, fellas, we are supercharging or getting our first start on this supercharged car. So we just need the parts and we can start it. Believe it or not, I also had to modify the harness that Whipple supplied me because it had the complete wrong connector on there. So it had to plug into the intercooler pump on the bottom, and that was that gray piece right there. I basically cut the line or cut the wires. You know, I'm trying to speak here, it's just way too late and I'm way too tired. I cut the wires on the harness they supplied me with, and I put in a new connector in there so that it would go and power the intercooler pump. So that being said, we will pick up this vlog when we get the first start and have the cooling barbs from Whipple. That's the last thing to do. Like as is, this is ready to go. So we'll pick it up on Monday. If you guys enjoyed this video and you enjoyed watching me put this thing, pretty much tear it apart and put it back together and Whipple supercharge it, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And we're gonna be getting the first start literally on Monday as soon as those parts get here in the mail.